Imagine going most of your life not knowing that you're neurospicy, and you only find that out in your late 30s. You know how messed up that can, be for you? Anyways, how you doing?
BigMa Life-ing, you know the vibe. BigMa Life-ing, you know the vibes. BigMa Life-ing, you know the vibes. BigMa Life-ing, you know the vibes. BigMa.
If you're watching me for the first time, hi, my name is BigMa, and this is BigMa Life-ing, where I'm basically just gisting with y'all about the shits I've been knowing about myself as I be lifing, because life be lifing, and yeah. Anyways, if you're here, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Let's become a community of people that are living together and share our stories. Today, I'm going to be talking about being neurodivergent, being on the spectrum. That's like something that younger me would have gone like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean spectrum? I'm autistic, me?" Because growing up, what they made us believe about autism was people that you saw that had like Down syndrome or those that were non-verbal and stuff like that. I had no clue that there were people like me at large who had no idea that they were neurodivergent was still on a a specific spectrum, because there's autism and there's ADHD. Then there's autism and ADHD. That's where you find me. Now, I always knew I was weird growing up. I always knew there was something different about me, but I never thought that it was neurodivergence. I never thought that this was something that was scientifically proven. I didn't even know that there were neurotypical people against neurodivergent people. I just knew that there are people that like to lie, that like to sugarcoat, people that couldn't, be straightforward. And then there was me. And then it was later in life I started meeting people like me. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not weird. I'm just different. And growing up in Nigeria, being different, it's not something that they train you or society, has grace on. Or, well, they did it before. Now it's kind of different. I think we're doing kind of better now. I think, right? So basically, how did I find out? I found out in 2018 that I was neurodivergent. Now I didn't know what end of the spectrum I was on, and the way I found out was when I took myself to Yaba Psychiatric Hospital. Yes, because I had like a manic episode in 2017, and I'm one of those kind of nerds that likes to research, understand patterns and whatnot. So I knew it was a manic episode I had. I knew I was teetering on bipolar disorder, but I didn't know if it was type 1 or type 2. And I was curious. So in January of 2018, I took myself to um, the psychiatric hospital for a diagnosis and evaluation. And I remember everybody there kept asking me, "You came here by yourself?" Yes, I did. I am a solutions person. I don't like having problem without a solution. There has to be one. So I took myself there after over 3 hours of, diagnosing and God knows what, and two doctors having to banter between themselves. I already told them what it was from the beginning. I just needed the official, diagnosis. They're just looking at me like, this is weirdo. Well, I am a weirdo. Anyways, they finally told me I had bipolar type 2 disorder, basically. And I'm like, okay, now that I know what the problem is, we can start looking for like a solution. And then, the more I started to research on bipolar, because having the problem isn't the problem. It is understanding how not to have that problem anymore. That's where the problem lies. And it will take me a journey of becoming, clinically depressed, starting to heal, learning more about myself to finally solve that problem. I've said this in the past 2, 3 years, since 2022 actually, I said it that I healed myself of bipolar disorder, and I would love to sit down with a clinical psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, and they should redo the diagnosis, and they would confirm that I do not have any of the symptoms anymore. I don't get manic, I don't get hyper, I don't get nada. I'm in a very sedated place, and that's because I did something called shadow work. I will talk about that in a different one. Let's not digress because I don't want to make this too long. But just I don't want to. I know that you have short attention span, Abby. So that was how I found out basically that I'm neurospicy, but I did not know what type of spice I was. because I could relate to autistic people, I could relate to ADHD people, and then neurodivergency in females are different from in males. So, like some of the things that men would go through, it wouldn't make sense to me. But then, thanks to apps like TikTok, when people started talking more and more about ADHD, autism, the signs, does this happen to you? So and that really became like a niche on my For You page last year, early last year. And the more I watch these things, I'm like, oh, oh, I'm in the middle. I'm the rare type of autistic. I mean, we're very few, but like most people are either, full on autistic or ADHD. But you see that middle place, it makes you want to lose your mind because it means that I love structure, but I can be spontaneous. I can wing it. It means that, you know, I remember everything. Still, I forget. So it's like a fucking contradiction. That's why I call myself the holy contradiction. Because high priestess shit. Honestly, who I am, I wish I had met her many years ago because she's amazing. But it's just unfortunate that society just there catching up to autism, neurodivergency, and how amazing we are. Because for years, neurotypicals made us feel like we're weird, we're off, there's something wrong about us. You know, for a long time, I couldn't show my brilliance in my creativity because I didn't want to be judged. I had to act like I was neurotypical. Masking is what we call it, you know, when you have to like fit in. But they don't understand how draining that is. That's why I used to drink a lot because when I had to be around people and, just behave like a normal person, I needed something to keep me in line to do that. That's why I could drink like a freaking fish. Like, honestly, it was more like energy drink for me. It wasn't really alcohol the way to work in other people. And I think, and I'm sure that there are other neurospicy people that can relate to this. That when you use substances of any kind, alcohol, you're blowing trees, whatever, it doesn't affect you the same way to affect the next person. Hence, why most of us always end up either abusing or misusing or becoming addicted to these things because they are more like energy drink, energy uppers for us to, you know, get through the day basically. So I did hide my creativity for a long while, how creative, how amazing I am, how smart, and intelligent, because I was too scared to show it to the people around me because I knew most of these motherfuckers were average, but as someone who grew up like lonely in a household where she had siblings but not really, so I always used to be by myself, and society will always have friends, be with people, just so now. So I always wanted to be around people, and I knew that the only way I could do that without them casting me aside is by not showing how entirely brilliant I am, because I didn't think they could understand my kind of like thinking. So I had to downplay myself, play it small, act like I was like them. But even at that, they still not like me. And for a long time, I didn't even understand how this also affected other kinds of relationships. I'm talking even like work relationships. I'm the kind of person that I call myself an overachiever. I like to get everything done to the T. I remember when I first started working in radio and I was a co host to someone who kind of felt like I was trying to outshine him. But I'm like, no, I'm a thorough person. Just because we're doing entertainment and gist doesn't mean that I should bring some lackadaisical nonsense to it. And most of the artists we used to interview, I remember back then, they loved the fact that I'd done my background, search. I had information that you couldn't really find in any other like live interview, about them. And I bring it up during the interview, and they're so impressed. They're like, "Oh my god, you did your homework." And that's because, let's be honest, in Nigeria, most presenters don't do nada. They'll be asking you, "So, what's the latest song you've dropped?" When you can Google that shit. Let's not even go. I'm not even going back to the past, man. It's the future. But that's how, it sounds like simple stuff, but you'll be shocked how many professionals are not professional at the work that they get overpaid for. We're not even going to talk about the fact that I was not even paid. You know what? Let's not talk about that today because that one, it's a long story. It's a long story. Also, when it came to intimate relationships, because I didn't know I was neurospicy for the longest time or what kind of spicy I was, I didn't understand why. I was leaning more towards very toxic type of relationships, like situationships, always being with emotionally unavailable people, and always having this push and pull where there's always this back and forth, and like it was like I always just I didn't understand what peace felt like. So I needed that drama kind of to prove myself worthy of someone else loving me or liking me and wanting to be with me. But in understanding who I was or who I am, I realized that it's because I was unhealed and I did not understand that a healthy relationship it's gonna kind of be boring. It's not going to have the highs and lows, the unnecessary, anxiety and all of that. It's going to be like very sedated. Like, instead of dopamine rush, you'll be on some serotonin bullshit. You understand? Like, it's really great. And the only way I could get to this point was to actually start healing myself and understand why I I was always in these dynamics and repeating the same cycle over and over again. It's because I didn't understand who I was. And this is probably why I revived this channel last year, because I started to realize that a lot of us do not know who the fuck we are. And in a world that doesn't want you to know who you are, because when you remember, you cannot be manipulated, you cannot be, played with. Um, we tend to ignore the signs because we just feel like just go with the flow. I don't need to know these things. It's too much knowledge. It's too much work. Well, how would you reach your fullest potential if you don't do the work? I said I'm not going to use this, a segment of my channel to be, preachy. But sometimes I just have to tell you because some of you don't have sense. Some of you don't have sense. You don't. Yes, you. I'm talking to yes, you. You don't have sense. Me too, I don't have sense. So anyways, I am still learning a lot about myself. I am still learning how to live as a neurospicy in a neurotypical world. But I love the fact that I enjoy every part of me that I'm finding. Ever since I healed, or yeah, because I mean healing is always ongoing, but I've done a mass, amount of healing in the past 2 years. And ever since I started really doing that and discovering who I am, my relationships, friendship wise, I don't have friends. When I say I don't have friends, like I can count the number of friends I have on one hand, and it's not going to be full. Like that's how crazy it is right now for me. Like I have more of close acquaintances in my life, and that's because of I understand myself better now, and I know that these people will not really get me to the depths that I wish. But it's nice to have those people in your life that you can still, it's like a variety of friendships basically. But when it comes to really, really close people in my life, you know, reach five. And I love it for me because there was a time where I used to be Bobo, everybody friend, everybody coming, into my life anyhow. But I was collectible, bad, good, and ugly. But now that I know myself better, I'm very, very cautious about who I let into my life. And because I have cultivated peace of mind for myself, I would love to maintain that peace of mind. And the only way that can be possible is by managing the people in my life. This is one of the reasons why I'm still journeying on celibacy. I am not really like I'm open to dating, but I am not looking. You understand? Like the thing of if it happens, it happens. Because I understand that whoever I'm going to end up with has to align with the way I think, the person I am. I used to think before that maybe I want to be with a neurotypical person, but let's be for real. I need a neurospicy like me. It could be on the same spectrum or a different one, but that is a kind of spectrum basically. I understand. I don't have to try to read your fucking mind. I don't have to try to understand you because you're not going to be playing mind games and trying to manipulate me and all of that. Don't get me wrong. There are neurospicy people that are downright evil. But the thing is, they can't hide it. Most serial killers are neurospicy. I'm just saying. I said serial, not just all those everything. I'm talking those ones that are very mythological that they are looking for years and whatnot. That's to tell you the level of brilliance it takes to be a serial killer. I don't know why we're talking about that right now. I'm just saying, like, we're brilliant people, we're geniuses, we're the people that our minds amaze even us ourselves. And there's nothing wrong in blowing your own trumpets because I went 40 years without blowing mine. So I'm going to fucking blow the hell out of it. Anyways, I do give myself grace because I continue to find out new parts of me and express it out there. Y'all are going to be meeting the various sides of me. We are the jack of all trades, master of all. There's not like master of no master of all. Anything we find interesting, anything that gives us that adrenaline rush, that dopamine, and gives us excitement, either when we're creating or just working or doing. Trust me, we make sure that we are the best at it because we're our own biggest critics too. You cannot tell me what I will tell me. Before you insult me, I don't insult myself. You understand? And I don't know if there's anyone else out there too that is just discovering, late in life that they are neurodivergent or what, end of the spectrum they are on. Give yourself grace. Okay? It's not your fault that you live in a neurotypical world not built for you. Here you get. It's like you are a dog living in a rabbit dome. And then maybe you find another dog at the end of the side, but it's like rabbits everywhere. So give yourself grace. You can actually live among neurotypical people, but you have to understand who you are first. It's one of the reasons why I like being by myself. People have told me, aren't you ever bored? I've not had a TV in my house since 2018. Same year I found out I was neurodivergent because I started to realize the things that were unnecessary for me that I was doing just because, I was masking and I don't like watching TV. What the fuck is that? I don't. And I don't miss it in any way possible. The voices in my head are immaculate. I don't need to be around people all the time. I love being by myself. I mean, I have the best time when I'm by myself. My energy isn't drained. I am thinking the best. I am creating the best because I get to communicate with my higher self, me, and just, give what I need. Doesn't mean I don't have enough to give others, but I'm selective about the others. I put myself first. I'm finally learning to be selfish, and I love it. When I tell you I love it, I love it. So yeah, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still lifing because hey, it never stops. And I just wanted to do this to encourage anyone out there who is different like me. You're doing great. And you don't have to look like the neurotypical nerd to be a nerd. Okay? You could look like me, fly like a goddess, baddest bitch ever, and still be a nerd. Because it doesn't take from what you have here. Just because you have all of this. I'm just saying. Anyways. I had a great time live with y'all. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, share, all the things they used to do. And ooh, maybe I will drop a link to my event that is coming up on the 25th of April in case you're in Ibadan and you want to attend. Yes, I'll be hosting the Sunrise Soul Circle. We're going to be releasing, relaxing, resetting, meditating, chilling. There's going to be some light yum yums. And it's going to be a great, great, great morning. Trust me. It's going to be holding at New Culture Studios here in Ibadan with a beautiful view of a hill. Oh, or more like we're on the hill and we're just looking at the view. You're going to have a great time. Anyways, link to the tickets in bio. And yeah, thanks for hanging with me.
Make we talk true. BigMa Life-ing, this no be hiding. Life don't show me pepper, still I'm smiling. Soft life loading, healing still riding. If it choke, breathe small, we move with timing. I don't learn, I don't grow, I don't level. Mind the sharp, heart clean, no more kettle.